Welcome to the all-new Blackthorn Pines and another Journeyman's Tales. The opening gambit for this particular trip is going to be more or less what I ended up using at Bramblemere. That is to say, a slip D rig with a wafter on it and a withy rig with a pop-up on. The only changes I'm going to make immediately is with the withy rig, and I'm going to be using one of the One More Cast large curved bladder liners instead of my usual shrink tube, for no other reason than I can actually just to see what it's like. The wafter is going to be the monster crab and the pop-up will be a winter special to start with, both from ProBaitsUk. That's the opening gambit, as I say. As things go along, we'll see if things need to be changed, what they prefer to eat, if indeed I can find some fish. Well, good morning. Here we are at Blackthorn Pines, an all-new fishery on the Blackthorn Fishery complex. You've got a single lodge on I think it's just over an acre of water, containing about 60 fish, I think. And yeah, we got here yesterday afternoon. It was blowing a gale, intermittent, quite heavy showers actually, and bit like the birch last time. I got one around about 7:30 yesterday evening. There we are, first evening, £17 and a couple of ounces, an absolute scaly beauty. Thrilled to get off the mark nice and early on the first evening, and the rain has stopped for 5 minutes. Excellent. And that was on the ProBaits monster crab wafter tipped with a couple of maggots. Happy times. Right, get it back, get the rod out. It's always good to get off the mark on a new, certainly on a new fishery. But it was a really strange night. At one point the clouds completely disappeared. There was stars all over the place. And then thunderstorms and absolutely torrential rain. And the temperatures dropped out of it completely at that point. But a quiet night, no fish. And a quiet start to the morning. Now I've redone the middle rod and the right hand rod, which are way off to my right, fishing on top of a bar. That I haven't touched the left hand rod, which is more or less straight out in front of it at the moment. I'm going to give it a few more hours, and I think I'll start moving them around again, trying a little bit, little different areas around. It's quite calm at the moment. The sun's out, but it is due to go back to heavy rain and strong winds this afternoon. I think they're actually forecasting, depending on what site you look at, possibly snow coming either tomorrow or the day after. So it's got quite a mixed bag. The barometer's low, but it is really cold for April. But we've caught something. There are plenty out there to catch, and we're going to stick with it, and I'll let you know as soon as something exciting happens. So just a quick show you what we're staying in this week. So walk along the patio to the main entrance of the lodge. You walk into a nice large lounge area with a sofa bed should you need it, large dining area, beautifully appointed kitchen, and to the left and the right, oh, there's some old duffer on the telly, left and right of the building are the two double bedrooms. This is the one to the right. Both have views of the lake, and both have ensuite shower and toilet. And as all the lodges on the Blackthorn complex are finished to a very high standard. And this is what we all come here for. The brand new Blackthorn Pines Fishery. Only opened this year. I think it's an acre and a half with 60 odd carp in at the moment for £30. And it's all there for you right in front of the lodge. There you go, half past 12, and a pristine little common of I've forgotten, £16 something, and that was on one of my orange dairy fruits with some maggots. Excellent. We've got a bit of a gash on this side, 2 o'clock on the second afternoon in the pouring rain before the storm comes in, just over £19. I think I found them where they might be hanging out. Right. Happy times. Lovely jubbly. Right, I think we'll put a bit of antiseptic on before she goes back. It's just come up to 4:30, and you could say they're rocking on the spot. 18 3/4. Have an incredibly hard fighting mirror. They are little peaches here, absolute little peaches. And I just found out there's also a 30 swimming around in here somewhere, so you never know your luck. I'll give you a quick flick of the other side before he goes back. Oh, she's actually like a bar of ice. Super thrilled. Just need to get 2 rods on, rocking on that spot. 2 rods are on it, but they're coming to the same rod at the moment. Anyway, happy times. Get her back, get the cameras out of the rain. I'll see you later. Well, good morning. It's now Wednesday morning, and as you can probably see behind me, the clouds are beginning to break up. The sun's coming up. There's a bit of blue sky appearing. Half an hour ago I was redoing all 3 rods in a blizzard. Basically they forecast snow, and we got snow. The bivvy was covered in snow this morning, or the brolly was covered in snow, the van was covered in snow, the far hills covered in snow. But it's beginning to rain again now, and it's just turning to slushy ice at the moment, and you can see. But I didn't put the middle rod back out last night after I had that fish in the storm, but nothing happened in the night, so it was all pretty quiet. But I've redone all 3 rods this morning. I've got 2 on the monster crab wafters and 1 on my homemade dairy wafter, and I put 2 spoms of bait over each rod. Now the spod mix I'm using is more or less what I was using at Bramblesmere, but I've substituted the boilie and the crumb for the ProBait squid and orange this time round. There's maggots in there, and there's also some chopped worms in there, and I'll come back to the worms later on. But it's quite calm out here now. I think something's just stuck its head out behind me as well, so that's encouraging, but it's not where the baits are. But all the fish have more or less come off the one spot off to my right as I look at the water. I think another one's just gone then. Happy times. Obviously the drop in temperature is not putting them off. Anyway, I'm going to go and get another cup of coffee. I'm going to dry out, and I'll catch you in a bit. I think the only thing I forgot to mention is in the spod mix is some house pellet, but that's basically it. just after 8 o'clock, almost a snow carp. My melodies are dropping off, it's freezing out there. 18 pounds and some ounces, and it's on that middle rod again, on the monster crab wafter, and it just seems to be a very, very tight spot. I've got the left hand rod and the right hand rod within feet of it, and it's that middle one that's going, but as long as it keeps going, I'm a happy bunny. There. Absolutely wonderful. Right, get her back, get the rod back on the spot. Happy times. Well, I've just put that 18 pounder back and the wind has picked up again, but it is actually dry for the minute, so I thought I'd take a brief opportunity to show you what I'm doing. It's not a lot different to what was going on at Bramblemere. Basically, if I can get it to stay still in the wind, it's that wafter tipped with maggots on the Korda Klor Barbless again, because it's Barbless on here. And what I'm doing is putting a few rigs together, but I'm just putting them together without the maggots on, and then putting the maggots on just before I'm going to put it in the water, basically. So there's 3 or 4 of those already together, some with the monster crab on and some with my homemade dairy on. The worm rig, now that's not something I've used before, so I thought I'd give it a go. Now, one of the instructions that I saw was to, quite frankly, you don't want to be doing it in this weather, in these conditions, but I've taken my normal wafter rig with the micro ring swivel on the shank of the hook, and on the end of that you're putting on one of these very, very micro bait bands, and onto that you put a bit of foam. Well, you're not allowed to use foam or artificial baits on here, like a few waters actually now. So what I've done is I've cut down a pop-up. Now you pull that down onto the shank of the hook, and then you get your dendrobinas and you open up that band and you poke your dendrobinas through the band, and then you, once you've got half a dozen in there, you push the foam, or in this case a cut down boilie, to tighten them in place. Well, quite frankly, it's like herding cats, because as soon as you get one in there, you're just about to get the next one in there, and then the first one decides it's going to wriggle out, and I did it once and I'm not doing it again. It's a complete nightmare. Good luck to you if you do it, and well done to you if you make it successful, but it's not my scene at all. So what I have been doing is virtually the same as I do with the maggots. I'm just flossing them on there and then tying them in a knot and ending up with a big bundle, and it's hadn't caught any fish because they've all been coming to the wafters and the maggots. But I have tried with the worms. What I'm doing now is chopping the worms up and putting them in the Spod mix, which I mentioned earlier on, which is exactly the same style of mix as I was using at Bramblemere, except I've substituted the boilie to the squid and orange, which I've crumbed up. Some of it I've soaked up whole boilies and chopped boilies overnight, so that's gone in the mix. There's a bit of corn gone in there, some maggot, and now also some chopped worm, and a little bit of hemp oil just to help stiffen it up a bit. So that's what's been going on out there. I think we're on 4 fish to the monster crab and 3 fish to the dairy fruit at the moment. But considering it's quite winter conditions out there, I'm pleased with the way things are going, and I'm pleased it stopped raining for half an hour. But you can sit and watch the rods now. I'm going in there where the central heating is and the coffee is. I'll catch you soon. Cheers. It's the monster crab taking the lead again. Oh, there I was, having a bit of toast and some coffee, and for a change, the right hand rod's gone off, and that's on that monster crab. Happy days. Perfect. Just perfect. Sorry about all the panting. Literally. Got that one weighed and sacked. Ready to get the camera. And off gone the middle rod. There you go. This is the first of the brace on the right hand rod for a change. So the spot is hopefully getting a bit bigger. 19 and a half. In the pouring rain. Happy days. Give you a quick flash in that side before I get it back. There you go, she's still a bit lively. So I'm going to get her straight back and I'll show you the second one. Marvellous. And here's the other one, as lively as they come. 20 pound, 2 ounces. I'll give you a quick view of the other side and I'll get the camera out of the rain and get the rods back in. How about that? And the wind's picking up now, it's terrific. Excellent. Right, let's get her back. Well, it's now Wednesday evening and it's stopped raining. We haven't had rain now for a couple of hours. It is getting a bit black behind the camera, but the sun is going down slowly. The wind is still fairly stiff, but it's nice to be able to get out and about a little bit, stretch the legs, apart from running around catching fish. It's always a chore, isn't it? So yeah, I think we're up to 9 now. We should have had the evening bite by now, if yesterday was anything to go by, but it's all quiet. I haven't seen anything moving this afternoon. A couple did stick their head out this morning before I had the fish, but nowhere near where I had the fish from. So they're obviously well scattered about the place. But I've tried fishing to the left, to the right, and straight down the middle, and they've all sort of come from a very close area, just slightly off to my right. But I did say I'd give you an update on the hooks. Now, on Bramblemere I was using the Korda claws, and you know my feelings on barbless hooks. It's barbless here as well, and it frightens the life out of me. But I have to say the Korda claws were outstanding, really. I mean, when I had the double take and Kerry took one of the rods, that fish that I had got snarled up in weed, managed to get it out of the weed, then it went solid into another weed bed to the point where I had to put the rod down, keep the line under tension till it obviously pulled itself out, because I managed to land it. But I mean, that was on a barbless hook, so that impressed me greatly. And they were staying really sharp, even with the fish that I was catching. They were fit enough to go back out again without me having to do anything to them. And it's been more or less the same here. So yeah, as a barbless hook, I can highly recommend the Korda claw. Most impressed. I should stop worrying about using barbless hooks, really. Anyway, it's due to be staying relatively dry tonight. I think the clouds are going to go again. We're going to get some stars out tonight, so presumably the temperatures will drop out a bit, but we haven't had a run in darkness so far. But tonight could be the night. But if we do, you'll be the first to know. They tend to run towards you at great speed. Before they realise something's potentially wrong. And then kick off. Oh. Ooh. Lovely jubbly. It's about about 10 to 7. Strangely enough, the middle rod, steady go. Another scraper 20. Absolutely delighted. That's the 10th fish, I think. £20 and a couple of ounces. Again, wonderful. Absolutely. And it's not raining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, all right. All right, babe. Quick picky. There. Throw the bits. Right. Put it back. Get some more. Well, good morning. It's now Thursday morning, the last full day on the water, and a very quiet night again fish-wise. We've had no runs in the night at all, but weather-wise it was ridiculous. The wind picked up again, blowing straight at the lodge. It was torrential rain for the early, well, till about midnight I suppose, and then about 3:30 the clouds disappeared, it all calmed down, the stars came out and the temperature plummeted. But unlike yesterday, it's not snowing this morning. Yeah, can't believe that, snow, but there we are. But didn't see anything yesterday evening in the way of fish movement. They haven't been showing overly, there's been the odd one or two, but all the 3 rods again last night were on that one particular spot. I suppose rod length, or less than that actually, probably between the 3 rods, but it's been the middle rod. But what makes that spot so special, I don't know. But I mean, when I started off, the first fish came to a bar to my right, and the other rods were roving around the place basically, till I decided to try that corner just off the right hand of the 2 points, and just that one spot's been producing really. Despite how close the baits are all together, but that's the way it can be sometimes. I don't know what's making it so special, but it's been working. Maybe tonight I'll spread them out a bit more in the hope that I might pick up something moving somewhere else, but in the meantime I'm going to fish them there today. I think it was kind of mid-morning I had the double pick up from there. So we'll wait and see, but at the moment the rain's keeping off, which is nice, but it is bitterly cold. I mean, the weekend prior to us getting there, the Easter weekend, it was really, really spring-like, nice and sunny, and the temperatures were quite good actually, well into double figures, but it's not anymore. But anyway, as soon as something kicks off again, I'll get back to you. In the meantime, I'm getting back into the heat. All right, baby, all right, all right. There you go. 2:30 on the last afternoon. The left-hand rod, the repositioned left-hand rod, gone screaming off for this fully scaled 19-pounder. What a treat. I thought that it was getting away from me for a bit, but that's number 11. Got to get the dozen, haven't you? I'll give you a quick show of the other side. She's going back, get the rod back on that spot. All right, baby. Right, what a peach. And the rain's starting again now. Right, let's get her back. Get the rod sorted. Marvellous. Well, we're just coming into the last evening. The left hand rod is back on the spot that I had that fully scaled from. I've just moved the right hand rod because that's been sitting there for far too long doing nothing, and that's gone back onto the plateau or the bar to my right where I had the first fish from when I first got here, and the middle rod is on the magic spot that hasn't produced anything since, I don't know, this sort of time yesterday really. And you can see with the way I'm dressed, I don't know whether I want to put a pair of shorts on or a wetsuit, quite frankly. One minute it's bright sunshine, the next minute it's tipping down with rain, and it's beginning to sprinkle a bit as I'm sitting here. But there we are, that's it. I'm all set for the night. I'm not expecting anything in the night because I haven't had anything in the night so far. They seem to shut up shop at night. Not a single bleep. Anyway. Hopefully they're going to have their tea. I'm going to have my tea, and hopefully it's interrupted with another scaly beauty. In the meantime, I'm going back in there to get all this kit off, finish my cup of coffee, have something to eat, and watch a bit of telly. It's a grand life. I was just dozing off then. I'm off. The replaced left-hand rod has gone. I thought we'd come off a fin then. There we go. About 6:15 on the final evening, and the new left-hand spot I've just found, and that is an immaculate looking 20 £and 3/4. Absolutely filled to bits. That's the dozen. Fabulous. Quick shot at the other side, rod's back out, more time, and there's still that 30 swimming out there. Excuse me, isn't that just beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Excellent. Get her back. Here we are, 1 o'clock, and that's the second fish I've had tonight. I think that's number 14. The earlier one I took some flash photography which didn't come out too well, but not a touch the other night. 2 on the last night. 19¼ pounds. Going out in style, I think. The wind has dropped. No rain. It's all bright stars up there. Lovely. Give these a couple of months and they're all going to be nicely over 20 pounds. What a fishery. Fantastic. Right, thank you very much, my beaut. Good morning, and inevitably the last morning has arrived. We're going to slowly start packing away. Actually had some runs in the night, which is the first time since we've been here, which made a nice change, and it stayed dry. Of course, now it's time to start packing away. It's drizzling again, but we've had a fantastic time here. Fishing's been really good. It was totally unknown for us anyway, and it's proved to be really good. The average weight of the fish at the moment is most pleasing, and they're only going to get bigger, and there's still that 30 pounder swimming around there that I haven't met yet. But yeah, it's well worth a look if you fancy something a bit luxurious with a bit of fishing attached to it. This complex is just going to get better and better and better. I mean, it's beautifully laid out. It's fairly immature at the moment. There's reeds been planted all the way around. There's been trees planted all the way around. Brand new otter fencing all the way around, and once that starts maturing like the main lake, it's going to be a picture to be here as well. But I've had a grand time. Beloved has had a grand time as well. We're going to slowly start packing away in the rain, sadly, and make our way home. But thanks for your company on this Journeyman's Tales, and I'll catch you all again soon. Cheers for now. More or less everything packed away. The rods are on the ground, the alarms are away. Everybody's dream went off the floor. Number 15, lovely little scaly mirror. Happy times. There you go. Nice little postscript on the left hand rod again. That spot seems to be working now. And taken off the floor. Everything put away. I haven't even got any scales out. Beauty. 15. Happy drive home now. Thank you.